There's something about John here. Welcome to Victims and Villains. I am Captain Nostalgia. I am one of the writers and podcasters here. If you guys are new to our platform, we are a nonprofit and publication that creates content like the one that you're watching right now to educate and engage individuals like yourself on mental health awareness and suicide prevention through pop culture. This video right now is sponsored by GenreBlast Film Festival, which we had the pleasure of partaking in this year's festivities. We're going to provide a link to check out all of their social media. It is probably one of my favorite film festivals to cover. And make sure that you guys subscribe below so that way you guys can see a lot more videos like the one you're watching right now to find and discover the hidden gems from this year's festivities. So this video is going to be covering the documentary There's Something About John, not to be confused with the Farley brothers Ben Stiller, Cameron Diaz classic There's Something About Mary. Though it has been a while since I've seen it, so I don't know if it's still a classic. I don't know if it would now work in today's environment or not. There's Something About John tells the story of a painter who hits a creative slump, and in an effort to kind of escape that slump and to kind of reset her focus, she takes up a ballet class at a local YMCA in New York City. Once here, her creative juices begin to flow again, and she has a revitalized passion for art, and also ends up documenting and beginning a new career in documentary filmmaking. There's a lot to love in this movie, and first off, I find the subject in question, John, who is the dance instructor at this YMCA, I find him incredibly compelling, and just a really humbling experience to kind of get to see this guy's journey from his humble beginnings as kind of trying to find his voice to kind of being comfortable in his own skin, and ultimately how that ends up actually becoming a just this like revolutionary little hidden gem of New York City. However, I have to say that this is a first-time filmmaker, the director of this and also star of this, Emma McCragg, and I have to say that the first-time influences really show through. The film seems unsure of the subject of which it's trying to tell. Like, yes, the title hints that there's something about John, and through the course of the first half of the film, it's basically balancing and going back and forth between kind of her own experience of trying to escape this creative slump and also subsequently trying to figure out the quote-unquote mystery of John, whereas the second half of the movie just it takes its entire focus away from both of those and just focuses exclusively on John, resulting in a jarring tonal shifts that happen and honestly a documentary that seems to lack focus for the most part. It's very jumpy in certain parts of the film. The editing feels really sloppy, and it feels like it's very hard to follow a cohesive narrative with this movie. And despite all of its narrative problems, I do have to say that this film does an extraordinary job at humanizing both of its subjects in Emma and John. And through the humanizing of its subjects, this film is very much allowed to not exist in a unique atmosphere, but it's able to really relate to its audience. Which brings us to our mental health moment for There's Something About John. If you guys are new to our platform, a mental health moment is basically where we take a theme of mental health awareness from the subject of the film that we are covering and expand it in the latter half of this video. Perhaps one of the most compelling things about this movie that I really found myself loving was the fact that they address walking out of not only toxic work environments, but also toxic family, friends, and just really trying to find peace within yourself. And honestly, when you're talking about mental health, that's one of the most important things that you can ever do, is understanding that it's okay to get up and walk away. Because in the end, you're not responsible for the baggage of others. And I think that because we have this stigma surrounding mental health, we feel like we have to have it all together. We feel like we have to put on a show or say the right thing or do this or do that in order to really make an impact. When it comes down to just understanding that self-care and self-worth and loving yourself is the most important thing, because if you can't do it for yourself, how can you do it for others? It's truly okay not to be okay, and it's truly okay to remove yourself from situations that result in toxic behavior. Because as the film says, you can't hold on to the pain of others. Because eventually it will weigh you down and it'll take its own toll on your own mental health. If you need someone to talk to or find resources, please consider the links in the descriptions below, wherever you guys are currently watching this, as we get into the rating, because ultimately you're not responsible, and find things that are going to be beneficial for your own mental health. If there's something about John, I'm going to go ahead and give this film a 3 out of 5 on a Rorschach rating. This is a really solid film. It's really compelling, a narrative. The only issues that I have is that the narrative can really jump. The tonal shifts are a bit jarring at times, and there's a lot of first filmmaker mistakes here that honestly didn't turn me off entirely to the film, and I am extraordinarily curious to see what Emma McCrack will do next. If you guys have seen There's Something About John, or you perhaps are watching this and you're like, I know that dude, leave a comment below and let me know, share your favorite experience with him, and if you guys got to see this film at GenreBlast or have seen this in any other festival run, make sure that you guys comment and let me know what you guys thought below. But until next time, remember to keep talking nerd, talking hope, speaking